Mhm. Hi, everybody. It's Tara here from Beyond This Reality Incorporated. And I'm coming today about a conversation that is all about, do you ever feel like the way that you are, you wish you weren't? Right? So we hear a lot of conversation about this with people who are gay, right? There's a reality inside them. Many of them, maybe not all of them, feel this way at times, but they wish with all of their might that they weren't, so that they could fit into society and not have all the hardships that they have because of who they are and how they operate in the world and who they're attracted to and everything else. Well, I would invite you to say and to see that many more people experience this in other ways. Like, that is very dramatic. And so I'm just using it as an example where people are openly talking about this. Energetically, I think that many of us operate in a way that is very different from the way that the world operates. It is beyond our comprehension, so beyond what your brain can even understand or explain. It makes us, I'm going to use me in this, us uncomfortable to be it, because we're aware that there's a different way that we could be that would be more mainstream, more acceptable, more with the ability to explain, and more logical. And this weighs on us. And the reason I'm saying this to you guys today is I just came back from speaking at an engagement, and coming up to the engagement, I did everything I could to prepare. So I prepared slides, and then I knew, like, innately, I know inside me, like, they're not going to work. I prepared handouts because I really wanted it to be more of a workshop. Concepts, base layer lines. But here's the thing. The way that I show up predominantly is energetically connecting with others. When you're energetically connecting to others, you need to be so fiercely present that you're willing to give up any preparation, any prescription of whatever you have for the day, in order to be so energetically present and connected to the people that are there and show up. Well, this is unsafe. It feels incredibly unsafe. And not only that, but I'm realizing more and more, and I have a feeling like I need to share this because it's not just me. If it was just me, I would tell my best friend and that's about it. But the way that I communicate many times is completely absorbed and heard and seen by the body awareness and by spirit. However, it's like almost like gobbledygook for the brain. It really turns things upside down and leaves people like kind of like, I don't know if that really makes sense. And I love showing up the way that I do, because as I leave, people are always grateful and like kind of beyond words, which is where I feel like I work. I work in the space that is beyond words, bringing people back to themselves in like such dynamic and amazing ways, right? But it is also beyond words for me. And so as much as I love it, there's a deep aching inside of me at times to be understood, and for others to understand me, and for it to be that space of comprehensible. And yet I'm constantly in the space of incomprehensible. I'm constantly in the space that's like slightly outside of comprehension. And it's uncomfortable. It's crazy uncomfortable. But that's how I've been. Like, as much as I would love to fight it, there's a greater urge inside of me. Like, who I am is demanding that I show up in a way that the spirit and the body comprehend, but the mind has to catch up on. And there are times where I try to find words that explain things that people can take away. And yet really it's their being that begins to become it that is beyond words. So I just wonder how many of you out there are possibly even in the energy field and your work is beyond words. Like it's even beyond what other people around you are doing. And you possibly are resisting it. And if you stopped resisting it, how much more joy you would have. That was definitely the message I got when I came home. I do a lot of hands-on energy work. And really the hand is really, for me, it's just the space of I see you. Like I see you, I embrace you. And so like I was doing this and like on my stomach too. And it just was like this reminder to me, true showing up for myself. I see you. However it was that you showed up today, met people where they were at. It might have seemed discombobulated to you, to myself, right? And yet, what if that was absolutely required? Exactly what it was. What if showing up so present, so connected, was really all that was required, and maybe no one remembered the words, and yet they remembered the moment, and not just remembered it as in here, but like they remembered it as an expansion. What would that be like if we all showed up as who we are, without battle, without fighting inside? I also received a message from someone on the way home, and she was talking about how she's constantly procrastinating and she's just making her life miserable because of it. And I thought, and tapped into her, and I was like, what if you're just absolutely brilliant under pressure and you could enjoy all the other time that's before that, doing all the other things that are filling up your life and that you totally enjoy, and allow yourself to go to the last minute and give yourself time to have the last minute magic that happens, and that you celebrate yourself all the time instead of tearing yourself down because you work really well under pressure, and that you get things done in like a few hours that would normally take so many hours. And your body's like, I'm going to wait until the end, because why do this in 10 hours when we can do it in 4? So what ways do you not fit in with the definition of how you should be, how would be easier you think, and yet if you just embraced who and how you are, to yourself, even to yourself first, you could have an easier life. You could have a more joyful life. You could stop punishing yourself for not showing up in the world in a way that they prescribed as what works best. It may work best for some other people, and rock on that it does. It may work best for a lot of other speakers to completely be prepared and to have notes and do the same thing, you know, from one venue to the next venue to the next venue, and like really knowing what words and phrases hit people. And I celebrate them because that is required and that's needed. And yet how I show up is also required and is also needed. And it's really incredibly vulnerable. And yet I have found time and time and time again, the more open, the less prepared. I was pretty prepared this time, but prepared as in locked into what I'm going to share, right? So there's a preparation that happens every day, and even a notes that happens every day. But I don't want to be locked in so much to my preparation that I don't show up so open and vulnerable and connected, that I don't follow the flow of energy. And now I invite you and myself to be in the space of celebration for how we show up in this world, that even to ourselves is incomprehensible. And even to ourselves, we have to, fall in line and just acknowledge the power that it is, the power that our spirit is, that's beyond what we could ever think and hope to be. The power that it is that there's no amount of transformation. There's no amount of preparation can actually prepare us for the immensity of what it can transform. I would love to know what you have judged as being a wrongness in you that is actually a superpower. So I wonder what your superpowers are. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.